Hello, my name is Luis Quinto, and this is my presentation on how very regular sleep is linked to higher risk of dementia. So, the current event article summary based on the title, um, it essentially talks about how people with problems with irregular sleep would have a higher risk of getting dementia. Than people with consistent sleep patterns. It mainly talks about a specific study about 88,904 people at an average age of 62. The methods that they used for this study were a risk device and the calculations that they did in order to get the data for the 7 days that and it would measure the sleep and awake cycles of the people in the study. And so given the data that they found, they had found that 480 people had dementia in the study. And so they found this connection due to, they decided to analyze the connection between how they were sleeping. So the people who had dementia, who did not have good sleep schedules. And so, they found that those people had the highest risk of dementia. And so the most important result was that the most irregular sleep of the participants, uh, with the calculations putting in age, sex, and genetic risk, they found out that 53% of people in the study uh, were more likely to get dementia than people who had more consistent sleep schedules. And so, uh, and they also stated how important healthy sleep is for people. So my two theories were circadian rhythm theory and amyloid cascade hypothesis theory. I mean, hypothesis is the same thing as theory. The two theories I chose were these two. And circadian rhythm theory is when the body's internal clock that regulates the sleep-wake cycle has become disrupted due to inconsistent sleep schedules and sleep disorders that increase risk of dementia. And then the amyloid cascade hypothesis includes when regular sleep diminishes clearance of beta amyloid from the brain. And then this leads to an increase of beta amyloid, um, which causes synaptic dysfunction, neuronal loss, and symptoms of dementia. So the first article is the impact of sleep on the risk of cognitive decline in dementia. So here it's a systemic review of how recent findings of how poor sleep increases chances for cognitive decline. This study didn't really find, these studies didn't really find direct mechanisms, because they said they were unclear. The methodology for this article were observational studies with self-report and the devices used uh, that were wrist actigraphy and polysomnography, which show that there's a connection between sleep and cognitive decline. So like in the current event study. So they also showed many variables like the CSF, this cerebrospinal fluid of amyloid beta, and they used PET scans as well of amyloid beta deposition in order to track the connection. Um, and so they found no sleep. That means that the CSF-AB in the brain has a decreased clearance, and and it also caused a sleep order, breathing disorder that comes up with a lack of sleep due to the hypoxemia, which is the lower levels of oxygen in your blood, and more buildup of amyloid beta, which can cause the cognitive decline. So those are the connections. Um, yeah, and so the theory, it supports the regular sleep, more specifically called slow wave sleep, at a decreased chance of amyloid beta from the brain, and the current event also supported the experiments, the devices used, and they reached the same conclusion as well. In my second article called Sleep Disturbance, Cognitive Decline, Dementia Review, which is another systemic review that talk about how regular sleep and how it's linked to dementia. Uh, they began naming statistics in the beginning of the article, stating how many people have been diagnosed with dementia and how they wanted to test the connection between these different sleep disturbances that they have in and out of dementia. Like people who didn't have dementia and the people who did, they both have sleep disturbances. Um, and that the quality of sleep and the ratio are very important. And then the regular sleep can bring in sleep disorders, like previously mentioned, and hypoxemia as well, lower oxygen and lower oxygen levels in the blood. They also try to find a solution to prevent dementia and use treatments as well, stated. And and so this article has to deal with the circadian rhythm disruption theory, in which is also stated that the irregular sleep due to irregular sleep schedules can increase chance of dementia. The, the article is also supported by the current event, like the previous one, and it agrees that a large percentage of the older population as well, mainly like 62, those elderly people, have a higher chance of getting dementia if they don't have the correct amount of sleep. And it also agrees with the treatments, which are consistent sleep schedules and recommended amount of sleep. And my third article, which is the impact of sleep disorders and disturbed sleep on brain health, a scientific statement from the AHA, American Heart Association. They explain the evidence supporting the connection between sleep disorders, disturbed sleep, and uh, how important disturbed sleep and unfavorable brain health, like smoking, can cause the development of dementia and others. So this study decided to incorporate another factor, which is unfavorable brain health, and they want to find out what really causes the sleep disorders as well, and by using biomarker data and the pathology of Alzheimer's. They gave evidence of early treatments and prevention, and they found a possible mechanism that the other two articles didn't, through post-stroke recovery. They found this um, through how important sleep is after you have a stroke. And the article has to mainly deal with the circadian rhythm theory, in which people with regular sleep, due to sleep disorders and regular sleep schedules and their connection to increased risk of dementia. And it also has the same ideas as the current event article, with the same consistent sleep schedule and the healthy amount of sleeping hours in order to prevent dementia and other neurological conditions. And here are my references. Um, and I couldn't put in the 15th due to there not being a lot of space. Thank you and have a good day.